Welcome back to Resining of the Living Dead. This is going to be episode number 19. They are just flying along, aren't they? Today we are going to be doing a custom requested the skull mold that we did a couple episodes ago that had the bubble on the chin. So we're gonna make one with the paint in the face white, and then using the Ronin black from Eye Candy to pour. And then with the other thing we're going to do today is we are going to do this strawberry mold that came from Temy. What we're going to do is we are going to paint the stem in a brown small tongue mica powder. We're going to paint the leaves at the top for the lid in the forest green mica powder, and then we are going to mix an iridescent red, and then we are going to use that. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of this. This is the nail dip powder that we got from one of the local thrift stores, and it's like a reddish metallic. We're going to mix a little bit of that together when we mix to pour this one. So what we're going to do is we are going to start with our skull, and what we're going to do is we're going to turn it inside out, and you can see there's where the skull face is. And we're going to zoom in just. Oh, we are back. We've mixed our resin, and what we're going to do is we are going to start by pouring it into the lid very slowly, as so not to introduce too many more bubbles, and then we will then divide up and put in our colors for the other two. So this one is going to be clear, so we're just going to go ahead and pour it really slow until we get to the top. And then what we're going to do is we are going to have to pat it so that we don't get any trapped bubbles in there. Because the leaves are going to be places where you're going to get bubbles. So we're going to squeeze them, and then we'll top it off. So we're just going to gently squeeze, and you can see those bubbles coming out as we squeeze them. And we want to make sure we squeeze every single one of them. And we'll put a little bit more resin. You can see those bubbles coming out of all those leaves. And it's okay if we get some of the green into the resin. Because this whole thing's going to be kind of green. You can see those bubbles are pulling back in. And what we'll do is we're going to get our little end of our our paintbrush, excuse me, and just kind of go around the inside to try to work some of those free. Alright, so we'll pour a little bit more. And then we're going to use the end of the brush, and we're just going to kind of pull those bubbles back out, because I can see like right there, there's a bubble. And you can see them coming out as we manipulate the leaves with the end of this. And we want to try to avoid as many of the bubbles as we can. And I think some are inevitable without the vacuum of the pressure pot, which we're working our way towards. But for now, we are going to use this end of the paintbrush method. You can see that one right there. There's a bubble. We got him. We got him. I'm just going to give that a spray in a moment. The good thing with some of these is you can see the bubbles in here. And I think, let's see. All right, I think we got them all. And we're going to set this over here, one of our other molds, so that we can let that harden up. And then we're going to give it a little bit more to top it off. And then move this guy to the side and give him a little spray so that the bubbles pop on the way up. We have what we need next, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to divide this up. Where's my torch? Because that guy has a little bit of bubbles. Perfect. We're going to pour some out. I think we're going to end up having to make some more. I think we're definitely going to have to make some more for the strawberry, and probably going to have to make some more for the divide it about half and see what we get. So we're going to start with the Ronin Black mica powder for the skull. We don't need a whole lot, because believe it or not, a little bit goes a long way with these, it seems. We're going to take our popsicle stick, zoom out a little bit, and we're just going to mix that in. The one thing we probably could have done was, in the last video, we put the powder in a small cup and added the alcohol and then poured it in. Once it was mixed, it dissolved, but this is dark, so we won't see it. Put that back over here, and what we're going to do is we're going to just turn this a little bit, and we're going to pour it in ever so slowly. I think we're going to need a little bit more for this guy. Once we get to the chin area where we knew we had that bubble last time, we're going to use the same thing that we did a moment ago. We're going to take that end of that stick and just kind of work it into that chin area so that we don't have that problem. And I think we had enough for this guy. Poured that really slow, and the bubble was here. So let's just give it a little squeeze or a little tap. And then we're going to take, without knocking it over, we're going to take our brush, the other one that we used, and we're going to just go in at an angle, and we're just going to get to that chin and just kind of work it. And I don't think there's any bubbles in there. I think we're good. And we have a little bit left in here. We'll pour. And then we have a little, we had a bowl that we were working on with our colors. If I can get this silly paintbrush to stay. We had this little bowl that we were working on, and we'll just pour what we have left into it. What little we had left, literally. Look at this stick. Alright. So we're going to move this guy to the side very carefully. He's a rather thick mold, so I think he'll be good to go. We'll give him a little spray as well. Alright, definitely going to need a little bit more for this one, so we'll mix up some more in a moment. But what we're going to do is what we did, or what we didn't do for the first one, and we're going to take some of this iridescent red. Take the iridescent red, put him in there, and then we're going to take some of this take a little bit of this red from the nails. And we're going to pour a little bit of our isopropyl alcohol into the cup. And then we're just going to give it a little stir. And that is going to all dissolve in. And we won't have any worry about any unmixed powder. And you can see in there's no powder left. It's all dissolved in. Okay. And then I think before we do it, well, let's see what we got. If we need to make more, grab another popsicle stick here and give it a little stir. We'll keep this one to the side because I have a feeling we're going to need to mix a little bit more, but then we're going to pour it into this mold and see if we have enough. My money is on new. Yeah, we're going to need quite a bit more. At least another maybe 2 or 3 ounces, and we'll make 3, and we'll mix up a little bit more. Grab my mixing stick here. These little Guys are trying to get out. And we're going to scrape what we got left. And then, because we're going to need more, I'm going to mix some up and I will be right back. Okay, we've mixed up some more resin, added a little bit more of a mixture of the powder, the iridescent red mica powder from Small Tongue, as well as the reddish sparkly nail dip, and you can see it here. And we're going to just finish off the pour into this mold. If it's not quite the same color, it will blend in. There's no glue involved in this one, so hopefully we made enough this time. And we definitely did. All right, we got quite a bit left, so let's get our handy dandy cat mold. And actually, take that back. First, we need a bear. One bear hug first. All right, perfect. And then let's see how much we got left for our cat puzzles. Really like this mold. It's kind of neat because they can be mixed and matched. We'll do a heart. Whoa, too much. We'll fix that one. We'll do one of the hearts for the dog. And we'll do one of the dogs. Actually, not that one. It's got some powder in it, I see. And we have a little skull over here with what's left over. So there we go. And let me grab another. Actually, I got a popsicle stick here. And let me get this popsicle stick and shimmy off the top of this one. It doesn't need to be that much. All right, so we've got the skull, the strawberry jar with the lid, a bear, a couple of cats and a heart, a dog and a heart. We'll give them a once over with our torch. And we're going to give them one quick spritz with the isopropyl alcohol. One more spritz for those guys. And what we're going to do is we are going to get out our heating mat, and that way they can cure a little faster. So we will be back in about 24 hours and see how they look when we demold them. See you then. We are back for demold time. So let's begin. We'll start with our little bear hug. And if it sounds like I'm talking a little bit lower than before, it is because it's about 4:30 in the morning when I do this portion. So this was the iridescent red and the nail powders. All right, let's take a look at the doggy. And we did a heart. And we have a couple of cats. Are going to need some cleanup because it really poured over. Oops. We'll have to do some cleanup on this guy, but we'll fix that up. There's another heart. Little notch right there from a bubble. And then the other one had one too. We're going to check out our molds. All right, let's check out the lid of the That looks good. We'll just sand this down a little bit. But we did a really good job of getting the bubbles out of the leaves because you can see this one is pointed up a little. Bottom is a little soft. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to we'll make a little bit of lip here. And I think what we'll do is we'll take our UV resin from Amazon and we will pour the bottom and then use our UV flashlight to tighten that up. But that's really cute. And then we got to level out the bottom. All right, and finally, let's see how our hooded skull did, and hopefully we don't have a on the chin. Let's see, 3, 2, 1. That's a bubble on the chin again. All right, we're going to try this again. We'll figure out how to fill it in, but it's got this spot. It's that spot. There's a spot right there, right here. So I wonder if we use some UV resin prior, will it make a difference? We're going to have to do something because that's the second time and we're getting the same, that same spot. The skull being silver is not an issue, and there's a little tiny bubble in at the top, but you wouldn't really see it much. But that is really annoying for the second time. Alright, well, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, and if you hit the subscribe button, you'll be notified when the next videos are released. And until next time, see you later.